I'm calling from a phone booth outside the dance studio. Gavin's phone was ripped out.
Yes, I know about that.
Police just arrived. I've also called an ambulance.
Well, how is Gunther? Will he be all right?
Gunther's dead, Nicole.
Oh, no, how horrible.
Nicole, what is it? Tell us.
Miles, are you all right? You sound just awful.
I have felt better.
What's the matter?
Never mind. Listen, I've got to get back up to the studio and give my statement to the police. Detective Tyler's here.
Oh, Miles, I'm so worried.
Oh, what is it? What's going on there?
Miles, I'm going to put Jody on.
Miles, what is it?
Gunther's dead, Jody. I'm sorry.
Dear God, this can't be happening.
He's dead, isn't he?
Miles, couldn't you do anything for him?
It was out of my hands, Jody. It was taken out of my hands.
Gunther provoked Gavin. The gun was fired in self-defense. That's all it was.
I don't have any doubt about that.
What happens now?
Where's Gavin?
He's right here.
Well, the best thing for him to do is to get down here as fast as he can and give his version of what happened to the police.
Okay, all right, I'll tell him to do that.
I'll be here at the dance studio for a little while, then I'll come right home.
I'll see you in a while. Gavin, listen to me. Miles said the best thing for you to do right now is to go back to the studio and tell the police everything that happened.
Yes, that is sound advice, Gavin.
I feel kind of sick. I killed a man. I actually killed a man.
You had no choice.
I'm a murderer.
No, you're not. You were defending yourself. You couldn't do anything else.
But what if the police don't believe it was self-defense?
Just don't concern yourself with that, Gavin.
Really, I mean, when the police hear the circumstances, there won't be any problem. Now, come on. I'm going down there with you.
No, you're not going anywhere. I don't want you involved.
Gavin, I already am involved. Now, I want to be there with you.
No, I'm going alone. You just stay here and wait for me.
Gavin!
Jody! Let him go. It'll be all right.
Nicole, I have never been so frightened in my whole life.
To know what the men of my department are all about.
That wasn't possible since he arrived in Monticello with his secret and clung to it for quite some time.
He considered it private.
Well, I'm glad he finally felt he could trust us enough to open up about his past.
It's hard not to be sympathetic, Derek.
Well, I will say at least he's never let this pathetic crusade of his get in the way of his work. He performs like a top-notch cop.
I gather he had a rather impressive record even before he came to your department.
His file had several commendations in it, yes.
Well, he's probably trying harder than most to prove his value to the department simply because he was placed here by influential friends.
But, Mike, I don't like it when my cops try too hard. They're always the ones that step in front of a gunman. I prefer they use more discretion.
No, that's understandable.
It saves me the hassle of having to visit them in the hospital and the hassle of thinking what to say to a new widow.
I still think he'll be happier if his doubts are resolved.
Well, right now, Draper is in the area where this Jefferson Brown supposedly died. Possibly he'll be able to shed some light on it. What's that?
Oh, excuse me, that's my beeper. May I use your phone?
Yes, of course, right in there.
May I have some more coffee,
Yes,
Nancy?
it isn't too hot. You want me to heat it up?
No, that's fine. That's good.
All righty.
It's Mallory. Did you beat me? What's up?
Okay.
A homicide at the Wiley Dance Studio. Who was killed? All right, Tyler's there now. Tell him I'm on my way. I'm afraid I'm gonna have to go.
Derek, who was killed?
Gunther Wagner.
Schuyler Whitney's chauffeur?
His ex-chauffeur now.
Who did it?
Apparently Gavin Wiley. I've got to run. I'll let myself out. Good night.
want every corner of this room dusted for fingerprints.
Yeah.
When that phone's in working order, I want to know about it.
Okay.
Okay, what do you have for us so far, Doc?
Can't you talk to us after the autopsy is finished? We'll know more in a day or so when Dr. Kavanagh and Dr. Fisher get it.
Look, I'm not going to carve everything you're telling me in stone. Anything you could give me, Doc, would help.
The man was shot once. Nasty wound in the abdomen.
Can you give me an estimated time of death?
Oh, he stopped breathing not too long ago. It's a fresh corpse, Detective. He's been dead about 10, 15 minutes at the most.
15 minutes? That's very peculiar.
Hello, John.
Hi there, Miles.
Damian, I'm sorry. I had to call home. That's all taken care of. I'll help you in any way I can.
Well, you didn't just happen to come in here and stumble across Gunther's body. How did you know he was here?
I was at Sid's Tavern with Nicole and Jody. Gavin called Jody there to tell her there'd been some trouble.
Can you tell me exactly what kind of trouble?
Well, now, look, Damian, I don't have to tell you the whole story, right? You know part of it.
Well, I knew they weren't friends. I didn't know they were mortal enemies. Well, go ahead. Tell me what you know.
Well, all right, Jody was here in the studio earlier this evening all by herself. She was waiting for Gavin. Apparently, they had some plans for him. Gunther arrived before Gavin did.
What moved Gunther to show his face around here?
Oh, don't ask me. I don't have any idea.
So Jody was here with Gunther?
Yes. And he started to harass her. He locked the door, came after her.
That guy just didn't want to give up, did he? How bad was it this time?
It's the worst experience yet. I mean, her dress was torn. I saw it. She said she had to pick up a cane to defend herself, but she managed to escape. She ran to Sid's Tavern. That's where we met her. It wasn't prearranged or anything. I mean, Nicole and I were just eating there.
So how did Gavin Wiley manage to get involved in this mess?
On her way out of this building, Jody ran into him. She told him what happened.
And, of course, Gavin came upstairs to the studio.
Well, he promised he was going to call the police. There wouldn't be any kind of a fight.
Well, apparently Mr. Wiley wasn't the kind of guy who keeps his word. The gun we found under Gunther's body was registered under his name.
Yeah, well, that's not a surprise, Damian. I told you. He called Jody and told her exactly what happened. He said that Gunther needed medical attention. That's why I ran over here.
And what did you find when you got here?
Well, Gunther was lying pretty much in the same position he is now. There'd been a tremendous loss of blood.
Was he dead?
No. He's semi-conscious.
Well, did he manage to say anything?
I don't... Well, yeah, he mumbled something about his watch.
His watch? Just a second. Well, it's just an ordinary kind of watch. Still running. But why did he mention his watch?
I don't know. Listen, I was concentrating on his wound. I was telling him I was going to have to go downstairs to call for an ambulance. All of a sudden, I felt this crack on the back of my head and the lights went out.
You were knocked unconscious?
That's right. No blood, but I got a lump there about the size of a golf ball.
How long were you out?
Had to have been a good 40 minutes.
And what happened when you woke up?
Well, I was very groggy, but the first thing I remember doing was checking on Gunther. It's too late. He'd already died.
Are you telling me that if there hadn't been a 40-minute lapse, that Gunther might still be alive?
I couldn't swear to that, but yeah, it's possible.
How was your bath?
Very bubbly and very relaxing. You should have taken one, too.
Maybe next time.
Are you feeling all right?
Yeah, sure. Why do you ask?
You look kind of strange.
Yeah, well, I feel drained.
The business meeting?
Yeah. Yeah, that was it. It took a lot out of me.
Poor baby. Tension of the past few weeks.
Yeah, well, it hasn't been all fun and games.
I can just imagine what's been going on in your mind.
And I was trying to figure out what was going on in your mind.
Well, you should have told me yourself. Even before the wedding. You would have saved yourself a lot of grief. I mean, you should have known I would understand.
Yeah. I should have.
And then there was the burglary. You come home and you find some stranger with a gun in your house.
I'd be very happy if I never see another gun in the rest of my life.
You were so brave. You're not just my husband, you're my hero. Oh, and then that stupid story about Valerie Bryson.
Forget it. I never want to hear about that article again.
Well, nothing will come of it. Because Lieutenant Diedrichson will never show up. Because I know where he is. And I'm going to keep him all to myself. You know what?
What?
I'm a trigamist.
A what?
A trigamist. That's a step better than a bigamist. I married the 3 men at the same time. Schuyler, Whitney, Jefferson Brown, and Lieutenant D.
You can forget about those last two.
All right, I will.
It is so good to be able to share my life with you.
You can tell me anything, you know. Anything. You will, won't you?
Of course I will.
That doesn't mean I have to tell you everything.
Hey, what is this, a double standard or something? Like you...
Yes. Oh, let Gunther get it.
Gunther's not here, am I?
All right. I'll get it. I don't want you talking to some businessman about stocks and bonds all night. Hello?
Raven. Mrs. Whitney. Hello.
Hello, who is this?
This is Damian Tyler. I'm sorry to bother you so late in the evening.
What can I do for you, detective?
Is your husband at home?
Yes, he is.
Could you put him on the line, please?
Just a minute. Damian Tyler. I'll be right back.
Yes. Detective, what can I do for you?
Mr. Whitney, I'm afraid I have some bad news for you.
Well, what happened?
Your man, Gunther, was involved in a little altercation at the Wiley Dance Studio earlier this evening.
Oh, well, look, if he's been arrested again, if this is about putting up bail for him, I've had just about enough of this.
He's been shot, Mr. Whitney.
Oh, God. How could it have happened?
Look, I'm at the Wiley Dance Studio. I want you to come down here right now. I'll explain things to you as soon as you get here.
Yeah, of course. How is he?
Well, Gunther's dead, Mr. Whitney.
Well, I'll be right there.
Defense, now that's clear. He's committed no crime.
But they're sure to find out about Gavin's animosity towards Gunther.
It was Gunther's animosity towards Gavin that led to the shooting.
I know, but there are no witnesses. No one heard Gunther threaten Gavin, and what makes it worse is Gavin shot Gunther with his own gun. Nicole, how is he going to prove that he fired that gun in self-defense?
Honey, you are worrying needlessly. Now, once Gavin goes down there and tells the police his story, they're going to believe him.
I don't know. I'm afraid of what might happen. Nicole, I don't want Gavin taken away from me. I love him. I love him so much.
Oh, Miles, I'm sorry you're here. Well, you just couldn't have picked a better time to come home.
How's everybody holding up?
Oh, I think we need a little reassurance. Did you see Gavin?
Yeah, he hasn't been arrested or anything like that.
Slow down. Nobody's been arrested yet.
Well, they believe his story, don't they?
Jody, look, right after I got off the phone with you, I went upstairs to the dance studio. I gave my statement to the police. By the time I left, Gavin hadn't arrived yet.
What? Well, he had plenty of time to get down there.
Well, maybe he's stuck in traffic or something. I mean, I'm sure that he's there right now giving a statement to the police.
Hope you're right, Jody, because the worst thing he could do right now is to panic.
Miles, you said that they've begun the investigation. Have the police come up with anything?
No, it's way too soon.
Well, what if they come up with a wrong conclusion?
Jody, honestly, I feel that Gavin is going to come out of this okay. Please don't worry about him. Now, if you two would excuse me, this physician is going to try to heal himself. I think I'm in need of a couple of aspirin. Boy, this guy's heavy. What did the medical examiner have to say?
Well, the doc said the time of death was about 9:15, which means Gunther probably died just before we got here.
What did he say about the wound?
One bullet through the abdomen. Judging from the absence of powder burns, I'd say that the assailant was approximately 10 feet away or more from Gunther when he was killed.
10 feet?
Yeah. The gun that was found on the premises was registered to Gavin Wiley, and it had been fired recently. Which means that there's very little doubt that the bullet that killed Gunther came from that gun.
Well, I wish I could say I was shocked or surprised about what happened.
But you're not.
These two were famous for not getting along.
Yeah, well, most people don't go around killing other people just because they don't get along with them.
Now, I had heard a rumor before that Gunther was responsible for a broken leg that ended Wiley's dancing career.
Well, that's a good reason for a grudge.
Are you going in there?
No, man, just looking for a friend.
Well, nothing in there but the police.
Unless you want to count a few minor traffic violations, I think what we might have here is a case of self-defense.
Yeah. Yeah, but don't forget, it was Wiley's gun, not Wagner's.
And Gunther was a big man. He was perfectly capable of breaking Wiley's neck as well as his leg.
What did Miles say about Cooley handled Wiley, though?
Alex said there had been a struggle over the gun and that the gun went off accidentally.
Heard that before.
No, you're not ready to buy it.
Oh, he just told me the man was shot from 10 feet away. That precludes any alibi about struggling for the gun.
Yeah, I guess that pretty much does cut it down, doesn't it?
I think we have to work here under the assumption that we're looking for a murderer.
Excuse me, Chief.
Yes, Sweeney, what is it?
If you don't need me for anything else here, I really should get back on the beat.
Okay, Sweeney, go ahead. Take care of yourself out there, huh?
Hey, you stop! Stop, Wiley! Stop or I'll fire!
Is a headache? You look awful.
I have felt better.
Well, it's been a really rough day. I mean, maybe that's why you're not feeling so well.
I really shouldn't feel this tired. Especially since I had a nice little nap this evening.
When did you find time to take a nap?
It wasn't planned, believe me.
I don't understand.
Well, when I was at the studio for the first time with Gunther, I got zapped on the head.
What?
Somebody sneaked up behind me, bought me a good one. I was out for, I don't know, about 40 minutes.
Well, who would do something like that?
Whoever it was did not leave a calling card, Joe.
Why? Why?
I don't know why. Mystery to me.
Miles, if something like this had happened to me, what would you tell me to do?
If it happened to you?
Mm-hmm.
Well, if it happened to you, I'd probably tell you to lie down, rest, you know, and hope that the pain subsided. If the pain didn't subside, we'd have to go in for x-rays on you, make sure there was no concussion.
That is exactly right. So I am marching you upstairs to bed. I don't want any arguments. Come on.
All right. I'll go quietly. I am feeling a little bit rocky.
Dear God, please let Gavin be all right. Damn rent. Gavin? Gavin!
frustrated day pass without sight, the edge of night, half dark, half light. Do you think we might wake up someday and be aware of all the games people play? Living circles of unending strife as we look for light, and nothing is wrong and nothing is right. The edge of night, half dark, half light, watching all